So, we'll see you in like 2 seconds. Time travel's so weird.
Godspeed, Barry.
I'll be fine. What could go wrong?
Hey everyone, welcome to Flash Chat. We are back for the second week in a row, and then we're going on hiatus again. And I have had an enjoyable trip down memory lane with last night's episode. I want to welcome our guests today. We have three spectacular friends here with us. We've got Brian Martin, Carla Marsh, and Dylan Smith. And Brian is a trivia host. What have you been up to?
Right. Well, asking questions of drunkards mostly.
That's like what I do on a weekend anyways. Cool.
Yeah.
Any big trivia Flash related questions you've done lately?
Yeah, I had a lot of Batman and Superman related questions.
I can imagine.
Last week.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
and
but no Flash, unfortunately.
You haven't seen the movie though, right?
No, I'm not in any big rush to see the movie.
No, Dylan and I have seen it, and we were talking about it, and we have our opinions.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to spoil it or be a reviewsy pants. Carla Marsh works for Heroes Aren't Hard to Find comic book store. She's got some cool events coming up. What have you been working on?
Oh, well, we're getting ready for the big show in June,
Yes.
June 17th through 19th. That's Heroes Con. And we've got Free Comic Book Day coming up Saturday, May 7th.
Ooh.
And that is at our store at Heroes Aren't Hard to Find, 1957 East 7th Street.
And that's a
Here
big
in
fun
Charlotte.
event. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just like come in and get some books. It's like fun to hang out.
No, there's free comic books that are printed up especially for the event. We'll have artists and writers and stuff outside. They do free sketches for kids most of the time. We'll have lots of goodies out there
Lots
for
of
everybody. It's like a
goodies.
nice one-day event for
I
Charlotte.
know. I can't wait. I look forward to all the Heroes events. And Dylan Smith, Blacksmith Soul, what have you been going on?
Well, I've been just still making videos and making music, going to different record stores and going to different music events. There was a music event in Raleigh that I planned on going to, but I didn't get to make it. But I kept in contact with everyone that was a part of it, and it seemed to be a
What
really
was
good
it
time there.
called?
It was by a team they call it I Standard,
Okay.
and they have little producer competitions around the country, and they stopped in Raleigh.
Ooh.
And I know some producers that were in it, and I spoke to them, and they said it was fun. But I plan on going to the next one and whenever they come back to North Carolina. But I've still been working on videos and whatnot. You checking them out on Blacksmith Sunday's YouTube channel.
Blacksmith Sunday's YouTube channel. There's his Twitter right there at Blacksmith Soul if you would like to follow him. And last week, literally after Flash Chat, I got the flu. Like literally after it, I started not feeling good. So I actually have a cough drop in my mouth. I forgot. But that is never going to stop me because I have superpowers of the Flash, and I'm going to continue on with the Flash Chat. And this episode, I just wanted to start with this. I was listening to Kevin Smith's podcast. You know, Kevin Smith is directing episode 21, and he was talking about how they have a 3-ingredient formula for the Flash, and it's heart, humor, and spectacle, I think it was. And I was saying last night, boy, did that episode have it. This was one of my favorite ones of the whole season, and it sure did. Like, I had laugh out loud moments. I definitely teared up a little bit, especially with the Eddie and Iris bit. And it, of course, has all the cool effects. So how do you guys feel about it? How did you like the episode?
I thought it was great. I mean, I'm a sucker for time travel episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm even more of a sucker for Back to the Future 2 style time travel episodes where you go back and relive things you already went through.
Yes.
And so this one hooked me from the word go.
Yeah,
So.
because it's different from like Legends. I don't know if anyone watches Legends, but Legends, they travel all over different time periods, which is cute and fun, but it doesn't have that personal feel where we get to revisit some of our favorite characters from season 1.
Right.
And that was one of the coolest parts. I asked on Twitter a poll about your favorite nostalgia bit, and mine personally was seeing Sketchy Wells again. What were your favorite nostalgia bit? Eddie, seeing the old lab, the old
It was
team.
absolutely Wells.
Mine was
Wells.
But I was surprised by how much I missed Eddie. I will say that.
I know.
I like that they redeemed the Pied Piper.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
because in the comic books, he starts out as a villain and then he becomes a good guy. And this is how, like, the show made him a good guy. So now we have a new member of the team.
And that's my. I wonder. Do you think we'll keep seeing him, or do you think that was kind of a one-off for
I
this?
hope
episode?
so.
I think we'll keep seeing them.
You do?
Like, it's a good way to replace Jay, who's
That's
no longer
true.
there.
Yeah.
So, he can actually help. He's actually a good guy because of what they did back and time.
Yeah.
So he'd make a really good addition to the team.
He would, smart guy.
Depends on how that dinner with his parents goes.
It's true. But apparently they've, brushed things over. They seem to be okay. And he's got some cool skills, and I think he'd be a fun addition to the cast.
Yeah.
And he kind of left like, we'll see you later, so maybe we will see him later. Twitter said their favorite part, I think their favorite nostalgia bit by a landslide, was Scotchy Wells returning, and then a lot of people were excited about Eddie coming back too. And speaking of seeing characters that we haven't seen in a while or new characters, there was a big crossover episode this week.
Yeah.
And so we've all watched it. Supergirl and Flash crossover. I still wish she would come on our show. Not like that. Well, she can come here any day. But I still
Can
wish.
I be on that one?
Yes.
Because I actually
Invite
do
us.
want to pinch your
Yeah.
cheeks.
I'll come back
She's
and
just so
pinch your
adorable.
cheeks.
I'll bring her an ice cream cone.
Yes, that was our favorite moment, was the ice cream cone. That's how I would react if somebody came in with ice cream cones. But there was one cool part of this episode that if you were paying attention, did you guys notice a detail about Barry and what he was wearing? Anyone? It starts with a T and ends with an Akion
The
device.
Tesseract. Or Tachyon.
Right.
The Tesseract.
What is that?
I'm
Tesseract
getting
is
Muddy
something.
seeing my Marvel confused again.
So look, he's got a Tachyon device on,
Yeah.
and if you're watching an episode where he's obviously traveled through a different dimension, and he's now, I guess this is maybe Earth 3, we'll assume, you might forget. But I was watching that, I was like, that's what Wells wore. And in this episode, Need for Speed,
Is tachyon particles.
he ends up trying to go get the tachyon device from past Sketchy Wells. So I thought that was kind of a cool nod. And then Andrew Kreisberg did say that we will see in the episode in which Barry does leave, goes to that world. So it'll make sense. So that leads us to believe they do figure out the tachyon whatever formula and build one. I'm sure Cisco and maybe Hartley get right on it and build it. But speaking of the Need for Speed, did you guys think it was a little like insult to injury that Caitlin also made the chart? No, like, not only I think you're not ever going to be as fast, but I'm going to animate it for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Your feet touch the ground. Your feet are too big.
yeah. And
You need to improve your gait.
And I was curious about that. Also, I'm on Wardrobe Watch 2016. She's wearing a blue skirt. She hadn't been wearing blue for a little bit, but she's wearing blue again. I don't know. So, okay, so we find out that Barry has to go figure out a way to make himself faster. He's not just going to naturally be faster. But did anyone notice the dinner conversation with Wally West? What he was talking about?
Speed.
And he's always talking about speed, but like propulsion of small engines, which I was like, that's interesting, because if you think about it, Barry's like a small engine, and Wally has figured out ways to propel. So I'm wondering if that will. I think that there's more to it, and correct me if you think differently. There's more to it than just him giving Barry the idea to go back to find Wells.
I thought it was really funny that like as soon as he brings that up, Barry's like, I just got an idea, and he leaves, and like you could maybe stay and talk with him and share ideas.
Yes,
but
right.
No, and I loved Jesse L. Martin's reaction at the end of that scene.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's just, he gets weirder and weirder. It's like,
Yeah. Yes.
What's unusual about that?
I know this show is so well acted, and I think that is what I was talking to some of my coworkers about this, and I think that is one of the reasons that an episode like this does so well, because the writing is so strong. Where obviously there's a lot of action in the episode, but a lot of it. This is the first time we've had a very Barry-centric episode, at least since the show's come back after Christmas. And I find on Flash Chat a lot of times we're not talking about like Barry. But this was Barry leading the way. It wasn't like a villain leading the way. It wasn't, the rogue of the week kind of deal leading the way. And I think only because the actors are so good and they have such realistic banter and lighthearted moments is the reason they can pull it off. And speaking of great acting, Sketchy Wells returned, and I don't know how hard that would be to be like, how did I play that role again? Tom Cavanaugh doing a stellar job. But he had to come back and be Harrison Wells, wheelchair-bound Eobard Thawne. If I were Tom Cavanaugh, I mean, I'm not an actor, I'd have to go review the tapes. Did anyone think it was weird he took him out so easy? I think sometimes you just have to suspend belief on the show.
that kind of surprised me.
A little bit, yeah.
Like I got kind of a chill when I saw it. I was like, ooh, boy, this went south really quick.
Yeah.
No, I actually wasn't even surprised by that, because he is Reverse Flash, so he's gonna be
That's
just as
true.
strong. He's gonna be stronger than Barry. But I was very happy
That's
to see
true.
him play that role again. That's
Yeah.
what I was used to seeing, and then he went back to it.
I
So
also like that Wells obviously didn't buy that he was his Barry
exactly
for a second.
For a second. And you know, when he was talking about going back to the past, I was gonna say Back to the Future. And when he was talking about going back to the past, he was so certain. But who here was certain that he was gonna pull it off? That he wouldn't
actually
notice
was.
him. You were
I'm a little worried that Barry's getting a little too cavalier with his time travel.
a little bit, yeah.
Like he's like, oh, I'll just pop back to the past
and they're all like,
and do this
"You're
thing.
not getting it.
But
it's bad to do."
That's a good thing to bring up, though, because
learned
you
no
start to see the
lessons.
ramifications of
Yeah.
that in the form of the
time wraith.
mentor that
Yes.
follows him.
Yeah, exactly. The
Now-
time wreath.
Yes. Now, are you guys familiar with the comics with the Black Flash in the comics?
Like the Black Racer.
well, I
Is
don't.
like the guy on the skis.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well,
I
that's the
don't know
guy
that
I'm
one.
familiar with, and that's
Okay.
who I thought we were trying to get a version of there.
Oh, maybe because I don't know if he's on skis, but maybe in like
He
in
is, it's
winter
squirrely, yeah, it's-
and when
it's
he's
really
in
weird.
the Alps.
Comic books.
Yeah.
But-
Anything goes.
A lot of people thought that the Time Wraith was Black Flash, and if you look closely at the Time Wraith, he does have a like a mask,
Yeah,
a
yes.
deteriorated mask. So I thought that was interesting. But that scene where Barry and Wells were able to finally talk in that Gideon closet was cool because they had never had that scene where they both knew, like they both were fully in the know and like they weren't racing each other. And I thought that was probably pretty like therapeutic for Barry's character. And another point of this show that was therapeutic was the whole getting to see Eddie again, which I've missed Rick Cosnett. He was a good actor on the show, and this whole bit he does where he gets the video. I almost wish he just said like I went in the past and got a video for you, because that was kind of, I mean, he didn't have to lie,
But I didn't tell him anything bad was going to happen, so he still died.
Yes.
But I got the video.
Yes, I got the video. Yes. Oh, well, he had to. Man, if he had messed that up, he had to die. But do you think this will help or hurt Iris going forward?
I think this will help her. I don't think she actually got any real closure with dealing with Eddie's death, and
Yeah.
now that I guess this really helped him going back into the past and getting that message for her, and
Yeah.
he was talking directly to her. He wasn't talking to Barry. He was talking directly to her.
And she seems strong enough that she's not going to get hung up on the idea of him, I guess. But do you think it's a good idea for her to date her boss?
No.
No. What is with her?
No.
Oh, she needs to like branch out, maybe join like a meetup group or something.
Yeah.
Match.com. Yeah,
bothered
do
me, like,
something else, Iris.
In the last episode, so they're out at that club, and she's talking to Barry like, "Oh, what do you think our kids would be like?" And,
Right.
and then like later in the episode, she's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll date my boss." Like,
Right.
thanks.
And I think
Thanks,
that's
Iris.
kind of how like they string you along on the show, because we all know we're not going to see West Allen anytime soon. It's always going to be an underlying theme, but every time it gets close to or they start talking about it, it's definitely going to fade away, because that's kind of the, I don't know, that's just that one big Flash thing that we're not going to see, I don't think,
It's
until
the big white elephant in the
You
room.
don't
Yeah.
have Lois and Clark get married in the second season.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
they wouldn't. And even like, I don't. Do you guys watch Arrow?
Yeah.
We see what happens when the main character tries to get in a relationship. Olicity. I don't want to spoil it if people aren't caught up, but it ain't working out so well. Do you think we're going to see Eddie again in this season? I still hold out hope that because of time travel or something, or 'cause
Earth 2.
Yeah, Earth 2, because they set up
maybe,
the
yeah.
Thawne thing. I still think that we're going to see him.
I actually thought because of him going back in time and him interacting with everyone and him seeing himself, his past self, I actually thought some people would still be alive.
Yes.
So I was actually thinking that Eddie would still be there.
And what do you think were some more of the implications of how he may have changed the future, besides just Hartley being good again? We see him fighting with the Time Wraith, and the Time Wraith seems to be gone. It doesn't mean that another one can't come. But what do you think else has changed? Do you think anything might be different now with Wally? Do you think, like, again, we were talking about Eddie, and then he also had told past Cisco about where Ronnie is. What do you guys think? I wonder, that moment where he said where Ronnie is, do you think that means we're seeing Firestorm again?
I don't think they would have just thrown that out there.
Right.
Well, I mean, Ronnie went through the singularity, but we don't know that he's dead.
Exactly. We
I
don't
mean,
know.
Ronnie might just be stranded on Earth too.
Yeah. And he may be in a weakened state because, as we see in Legends, Firestorm is now with was it Jefferson Jackson?
Jefferson.
Yeah. And so I'm curious. He had to say it for a reason.
Yeah.
The show's all like every.
They keep
single-
reminding you about Ronnie.
They
Like,
do.
every few weeks they'll give you a little nibble about, like Caitlin will mention Ronnie.
Yeah.
Or they keep you, thinking about, oh yeah, Ronnie.
Yeah, like where's
Where's Ronnie?
And like Robbie Amell is still all over the internet tweeting stuff. He'll be back. I mean, he did the X-Files stint, but I think we'll see him again. It's just, will we see him this season? I still want to see Eddie, though. That's what I would like to see with the whole change of whatever happened in the future. And we see in this episode that for the first time ever, Wells mentions, the current Earth 2 Wells mentions his dead wife, which we assume is dead. I'm not sure. Did we know she's dead in the show this year?
I don't think we got any actual. We didn't go into detail on that.
I think like Twitter assumes she's dead, but it doesn't mean that she is definitely dead. So I'm curious to see who do you guys think his wife is or was, or what's happening there? Any theories on the Wells wife? Madam Wells. Where does Jessie Quick get her last name from?
Oh, Johnny Quick.
Johnny Quick, yeah, who was married to Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
And then they had Jessie Quick. So, but I don't think
But doesn't
Liberty
she
Bell
go?
is his wife.
She goes by Jessie Quick
But
in the show.
the formula that he writes on the board, that when Barry's trying to figure out like the equation,
Yeah.
that's Johnny Quick's formula.
How do you
Really?
know that?
Comic books.
Okay.
You stare at them all day.
Wow.
That's-
Yeah, I work in the comic book store. This is how I know that. But that's
Wow.
Johnny Quick's formula.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's a good tidbit to know.
Wow.
That is. This is why we have Carla come on, 'cause she knows the facts.
Come visit me at Heroes.
Go
and
to
we'll hook you
Heroes.
up.
Yes, she'll tell you all.
We'll
the
do all
things.
kinds of research
All
together.
sorts of
It'll be fun.
formulas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, you're just gonna do formulas with her and hang out. And Rico will be there. He'll color them in for you.
Exactly. If you ever have a question, you can always come to Heroes.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I always have questions about I just don't even know. So I'm curious what we'll figure out with Wells and his wife now that he's finally mentioned her. She's gonna show up, I think, this season. Also, when Cisco vibed with that helmet, when he's talking about his daymares, which is funny, he has some good one-liners. But when he vibed with that helmet, when Zoom was holding a girl over the edge, was that Jesse from back in the day, or who was that?
Wasn't that from earlier in this? There was a point where he was holding Iris over a ledge.
Was it
wasn't
that?
there? I think it looked like it.
Or it
I
could
don't
be
know.
whatever.
We're gonna have
he's
to go
up
back and
now.
freeze frame it.
I know. I forgot about that.
I watched it on my phone. It's only so.
You did. I do that sometimes too. Sometimes I have to watch it twice, and I'll like brush my teeth in the morning while watching it. But yeah, I tried to freeze frame it and go back, and I couldn't tell. It looked like it might have been Jessie Quick. It looked like a brunette girl, but that's all I could tell. So I'm so curious. We still haven't found out about who the man in the mask is, but the promo for her, not next week, but the Flash comes back April 19th. So everyone just wait. But the
Give it a
promo
month.
for, we don't, like it's 2 weeks
Again.
this time.
It's
Well,
like Lost. This is how it felt when we were watching
Yeah.
Lost, right? It's like 2 weeks
Go
and
away
then
for
like
a long
a
time.
month with nothing.
and then that comes back, and then Game of Thrones will be back.
Yep.
I'm so excited. But the trailer looks a lot about Zoom. We're learning a lot about Zoom, and then they say in it that Hunter Zolomon is a serial killer. So check out the trailer for April 19th, The Flash Returns.
Why the charade? To give people hope, Detective? Hope. So I could rip it away from them. You just don't care. How many people you killed? No, I don't.
His real name is Hunter Zolomon.
He's a convicted serial killer. I'm faster than I've ever been. I can take him down.
You can lock up the darkness.
I feel like that's kind of how I sound right now. The voice of Zoom. That he's creepy with like the contacts and
Yeah.
oh man, it's gonna be a good episode.
So is the guy in the iron mask, is that Jay? Is that Ronnie?
That's the
Is
question.
that Eddie from Earth 2?
It's Wells' wife.
It's
That's
Wells'
Wells'
wife. Could be. I
She's a
still
little
think-
husky, you know.
She's a bigger lady. She's a handsome lady. So my question though, because I always ask all my Flash Chat guests, what are your theories about Zoom? I think it's something to do with maybe the Jay Garrick on Earth 2, because he was taking the Velocity 9, he kind of split his self. And I don't think it's a twins thing, although it could be, but I think that Hunter Zolomon's Earth 1 bad Jay Garrick, and then Earth 2, Jay Garrick split himself into like good Jay that we think is dead, and then Zoom. I'm going with that for now. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think, like, what was her name last week? The fast girl who ran herself to death?
Oh, I forgot.
Oh,
her name.
Trajectory.
Trajectory, that was
Yeah.
it. I kept thinking Turbulence. I'm like, that's definitely not it.
That's a cool one,
but,
too.
that seemed to be sort of like what was going on with her.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if like the Garrick we've seen is actually kind of authentic,
Yeah.
and Zoom is sort of a split personality.
Yeah. I'm interested in that. What do you think?
I don't know.
No.
Well, they were in the park that one time where they said they saw Hunter Zolomon.
Yeah.
I think that might have been actually Jay Garrick.
Yeah, that's what I think.
He's a rock and roll star in Charlotte.
maybe it was
Jay
him,
Garrick,
yeah.
not Jay Garrigan.
I don't know him, but congratulations on being a rock and roll star in Charlotte. I think nothing has been as it seems. So I think that could be something's up with that.
The nice thing about The Flash is I always try to guess, and sometimes they still surprise me.
I know.
And I've read a lot of comic books.
Yeah.
So it's really like, that's a compliment to the writers of this show
is.
that, like, I've seen it all in the comic books, and yet I still...
It's like a whole new world
I
of
feel like when they
comics.
take the mask off of that guy, I'm going to be like, oh my God!
Yes.
I didn't see that coming.
They
Yeah.
play on your expectations.
Oh yeah,
They
and
do.
then they flip it.
Still could be Eddie. I still think it could be Eddie.
Or it could be Ronnie.
It could be Ronnie. True. No one said that.
That's a really good guess.
That's actually a really good guess.
I'm saying
Ronnie
that from
would be
now on.
Ronnie.
I'm
Like,
going into that.
here.
He went through the singularity. We don't know what happened to him.
That's true. It very
That is
well
kinda
could
good.
be.
So what if it's Ronnie in the
Best
mix?
theory.
After hearing all these theories, I can't even really make one up for myself.
I know.
'Cause they're all kind of good, especially yours with the guy in the mask being Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Well, I'm just gonna say that right now. I'm just gonna take Jay Garrick as he is. He is Zoom for now until I'm just gonna wait because
Zoom until
these
proven
are all really
otherwise.
good theories.
Yes.
and they could all work.
Yeah, they could. I think Zoom gave me the flu. I think that's what happened. Say his
He
name
is
3
a villain.
times and
He is
you
a villain.
get the flu. And then I wanted to bring this up. I had forgotten to mention Wells. Back in the past, Sketchy Wells mentioned he knew of a bunch of other speedsters. Do you think he knows of Zoom? Do you think that Wells knew of Zoom, or do you think he just meant he kind of just knows there are some others because he's Eobard Thawne from the future?
I think he knows that Wally West in the future is a speedster.
Yeah.
and Jesse Quick.
Yeah.
So
I always felt like that Wells kind of was omniscient. Like I feel like Barry pulled one over kind of on him, but I think he just knows. I don't know. He seems like above the timeline.
One thing's for sure. Like I think Wells is so much better at traveling in time
Yeah.
than Barry is, because Barry gets back in time, and the first thing he does is meet
Screw up.
himself, and I'm like, that's the
Yeah.
last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part in this whole episode might have been when Barry was trying to feebly explain the presence of 2 Barrys, and Wells is just face palming.
I know. And I'm like,
he's
why
so
did you not
ashamed
just
at how
say,
bad at time
I'm
travel he
from
is."
the future? They would have probably got it. I mean, they're used to weird things happening at this point. Yeah. Barry, he's always a little derpy, but we love him.
And can I say something real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah,
Just speaking of him going back in time and him meeting himself, I'm wondering if we'll see in the next episode if his past self knowing that he can time travel, if that really affected anything, or if his past self tried and then messed up somehow or messed something up.
Yeah, because Wells hadn't taught him how to time
Yeah,
travel
but
yet.
now that he knows, it's like he probably asked Wells after Future Barry went back to the present, can I time travel now?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm curious to see how he messed up the timeline because something else is messed up.
Yeah.
Or maybe something good. Maybe we're always like Planet Doom here, but I think something,
It's drama. That's what it is.
It's drama, yeah, but I think something else will happen for it. I'm curious to see what does, but of course we have to wait. 2 more weeks, thanks, you. But in the meantime, we have some fun events coming up. The street team is going to be at Bark in the Park at Rural Hill coming up on April 30th. So if you have a dog, or if you just like dogs, or you just like walking outside, go to Bark in the Park. We'll be there. Also, as Carla mentioned, Free Comic Book Day, May 7th at
Saturday, May
Heroes.
7th.
And you want to definitely check out that. And we can announce here the Flash season finale party is going to be again at Heroes. It's going to be on Tuesday, May 24th, probably 6 to 9:30. I think we're thinking. It's the same shebang. If you've come out to that before, we have usually like food and fun, and the street team's there, and then we watch the show live, and then do a live streaming Flash chat. So join us there. It's more fun to watch with friends.
we all
I
freak
think.
out when it's over.
Yeah.
Like last year when the helmet came
Flew
through
out.
in the finale. Like we all freaked out collectively. It was fantastic.
It was the coolest coolest part. You know they'll do something
we all
again.
sucked the air out of the room together.
I know. It's fun to watch it there.
Yeah.
It's a really good time. And we have, because there's a 2-week hiatus, I actually did plan, I didn't last month, but we do have some CW chats coming up. So CW chat next Wednesday, you can watch it live streaming here at WCCBCharlotte.com. It'll be at 3:30 p.m. It's called DC Download. And I have guys from Name Redacted Podcast, and then I have Steve Baxey from Geekvolution. I want to make sure I say that right. We're going to be just talking about Legends, Arrow, some Flash stuff, Batman vs. Superman, maybe a little bit DC Rebirth, although like I can barely contribute to that, but it happened, so I should learn. And then also CW chat. If you're a fan of The 100, a lot of you are, we are doing another CW chat about The 100 coming up Wednesday, April 13th. You can again watch that streaming here at WCCBCharlotte.com at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because some of you are watching in other time zones, and that's super awesome. So that was a fun episode of The Flash, and we're going to go through Flash withdrawals until April 19th. But until then, thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you.
And happy flashing. Bye, everyone.